Which criminal case do you know personally brings the most terror and shock to you? I won't be surprised to hear names like Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer and the like. These sure are extreme cases, but have you ever heard of criminal cases that cause significant changes to the law? Here are the 12 criminal cases that modified the law. Hi there, welcome to our channel, Eventful Insights. Today we'll be counting down our list of 12 real-life criminal cases in our history that prompted a change in the body of law. Curious enough? Let's get started. Before we begin, we just have a quick question. Have you heard crimes from the news before that caused changes in the law? Tell us in the comments below. Starting with number 12, No Child Left Behind policy. On December 7th, 2003, 13-year-old Daniel Morecambe from Queensland, Australia, went to the bus stop to catch a ride to the mall for Christmas shopping. When his bus was late, he was seen talking to two unknown men and then disappeared. In 2011, an undercover operation eventually revealed Daniel's abductor and killer. Brett Peter Cowan, a convicted sex offender, admitted to murdering Morecambe on that December day in 2003. The No Child Left Behind policy was then introduced after the Sunshine Coast bus stop incident with Daniel. Now, bus drivers have to stop for children, regardless of whether they can pay the fare or not. At number 11, the Chicago Tylenol poisonings. In the early morning of September 29, 1982, a tragic medical mystery started with a sore throat and runny nose for Mary Kellerman, a 12-year-old girl from Elk Grove Village near Chicago. She told her parents about her symptoms, and they gave her an extra-strength Tylenol capsule, not knowing it was tainted with highly poisonous potassium cyanide. Mary passed away by 7 a.m. In 1983, the U.S. Congress passed a law known as the Tylenol Bill, which made tampering with consumer products a federal offense. Following that, in 1989, the FDA set up national rules requiring manufacturers to create tamper-proof packaging for all such products. Up next at number 10, Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act. Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr., though unrelated to one another, they were both victims of hate crimes. On June 7, 1998, James Byrd Jr., a 49-year-old African-American man, accepted a ride from three white men who beat him, stripped him naked, chained him to their truck, and dragged him to his death. Similarly, on October 6, 1998, Matthew Shepard, a 21-year-old gay college student, took a ride that ended with him tied to a fence, brutally beaten, and left to die. The Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act of 2009 increased federal authority to investigate hate crimes and provided funding for state and local investigations. Then at number 9 we have Rebecca Sheffer's stalking case. On July 18, 1989, 21-year-old actress Rebecca Sheffer was killed at her Los Angeles home by Robert John Bardo, a mentally unstable man who had been stalking her. Her death then played a role in the introduction of legislation in California to prevent stalking. A year after Rebecca's death, California enacted the first anti-stalking law in the U.S. This law makes it a felony to cause someone or their family to reasonably fear for their safety and comes with a state prison sentence. Next at number 8, Johnny Gosch disappearance case. Johnny Gosch, a 12-year-old paperboy for the Des Moines Register, had been delivering papers in the vicinity of his West Des Moines home for approximately a year before he went missing. After Johnny disappeared, his parents advocated locally and nationally for child safety and improved law enforcement response to missing children. One notable success was the Johnny Gosch Bill, passed by the Iowa legislature in 1984, requiring quick investigations in missing child cases involving suspected foul play. And at number 7, the Sylvia Lyons case. Sylvia Lyons is a 16-year-old girl who was systematically beaten and tortured for 3 weeks by at least 10 people, likely more, as per the police. The outcry surrounding her case, media coverage, her release, and additional crimes prompted significant changes. Sylvia's case is acknowledged for Indiana's mandated reporter law, which mandates anyone in Indiana, regardless of age or profession, to report any suspicion of child abuse to law enforcement. Before we continue, why don't you tell us in the comments below which law in our list got you interested the most so far? Now let's continue with number 6, George Floyd. On May 25th, Minneapolis police arrested George Floyd, a 46-year-old black man, following a 911 call from a convenience store employee reporting that Mr. Floyd used a fake $20 bill to buy cigarettes. 17 minutes later, after the first police car arrived, Mr. Floyd was unconscious and restrained under 3 police officers, displaying no signs of life. Because of this, the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act was established. This act is a federal proposal aiming to reform U.S. police departments. It seeks to restrict controversial tactics like no-knock warrants and make it easier to prosecute officers for violence. The bill would ban chokeholds by federal officers, requiring state and local police departments receiving federal funds to adopt the same policy. Moving to number 5, Emmett Till. In 1955, while shopping at a store owned by Roy and Carolyn Bryant, 14-year-old Emmett Till was accused of possibly whistling at Mrs. Bryant, a white woman. Emmett Till was later kidnapped, brutally beaten, shot, and thrown into the Tallahatchie River, prompting an investigation upon the recovery of his body. The Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act, named after Emmett Till, allows prosecuting an act as a lynching when someone plans a hate crime that leads to death, serious bodily injury, or other significant harms. Continuing to number 4, Megan Canker. In July 1994, a 7-year-old Megan Canker was raped and murdered by her killer, who lived just across the street of her family. The family was unaware that this neighbor has previous convictions for sex offenses, both against 2 other young girls. Following her death, her parents and other people began to advocate for laws that would notify people should a sex offender move into their neighborhood. Their efforts bore fruit, and this became Megan's Law. The law requires all states of America to make a registry accessible to the public so they could be made aware when a sex offender moved nearby. At number 3, Amber Hagerman. Are you familiar with the Amber Alert system? 9-year-old Amber Hagerman, who inspired the Amber Alert system, was abducted while riding her bike in Arlington, Texas on January 13, 1996, and tragically murdered. The Amber Hagerman Child Protection Act of 1996 enhances federal laws to penalize aggravated sexual abuse of a person under 12 and sexual abuse of a person between 12 and 16. It applies to individuals crossing state lines or engaging in such acts in interstate or foreign commerce. The act allows the death penalty if the defendant kills the victim. And for our number 2 on the list, Sarah Payne. Sarah Payne, age of 8, was abducted and murdered in 2000 by Roy Whiting, who had a previous conviction for a similar offense against another 8-year-old girl. This information was initially withheld from the jury to prevent prejudice during the trial. Sarah's Law, also known as the Child Sex Offender Disclosure Scheme, enables parents to inquire with the police about individuals with access to their children, checking for any convictions or suspicions of child abuse. This measure is created to safeguard children under the age of 18. And lastly, number 1 on our list, Adam Walsh. On July 27, 1981, Adam Walsh went missing. His mother had left him playing in the toy department at a Sears store in a Hollywood mall, but upon her return, he was nowhere to be found. Unfortunately, 2 weeks later, fishermen discovered his severed head in a canal near Vero Beach, 120 miles away. His body was never recovered. The Adam Walsh Act aims to safeguard children from sexual exploitation and violent crime, prevent child abuse and child pornography, promote internet safety, and commemorate the memory of Adam Walsh and other child crime victims. And there you have it. Those were the 12 real-life criminal cases that made significant changes to the law. If you'd be given a chance to create a law for the betterment of society, what would it be? Share it with us in the comments below. If you enjoyed watching this video, support us by giving us a like, click the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell to get notified of more of our videos. Thanks for watching.